morning tip.
Good afternoon. It is August 1st, 2018. You're listening to a Little Column A, a Little Column B, hosted by Will Leonoms and co-hosted by Zach Bishop. How you doing today, buddy?
What's up, Will? August. That means football. It's not that far away. You can say that and actually means something now. It's not fake anymore. It's happening.
Oh, so this podcast can have a reason again. That'd be great. God, these summer months.
No more fake football topics. We'll have real football topics. There'll be real football on TV.
You know, while we're on the topic of that, I am so excited for football stories to be about football again. They have been awful. This offseason's terrible, and albeit relevant, it just seems so unrelated to the actual sport. It's the franchise and the money and the foundation and the NFL shield. None of that has anything to do with wins and losses and touchdowns and the reason we like this sport. So with that being said, it is August. This summer is flying by, and we are getting closer and closer to football. But things we do have going on at the moment right now are a whole bunch of other things. We have very little sports topics, but a whole bunch of things all over the place here. Anything you would like to open with? Oh man, yeah. See, this is what happens when I don't host for a while and I have to lean on you a little bit here. You know what? Let's open with this new Uber application. I think everyone's familiar with what Uber is, and they are claiming to come up with these 3 new kind of additions to the app. As far as I know, these aren't actually new. They're just being, I don't know, sharpened up a little bit and tuned up a little bit. What's the number one feature they just added to all this?
Yeah, so there's 3 new features, which to me I thought were new, but I don't take Uber very often, so you might be a little more in the know of if they're actually new or just, as you put it, sharpening up on old ideas. But the first one is when you order an Uber, and then when the car is getting close, you can hold your phone up and your phone will be a certain color, and that way your Uber driver can see, oh, this is the group of people I'm looking for because that phone is yellow and not that group over there that's red, and be able to pull up closer to you to hopefully get you and your friends into the car and get you guys all to your next destination a little quicker.
All right, you want me to counter one by one, or you want to read all 3 off first?
Yeah, let's go one by one.
One by one. All right, so maybe this is new to Uber, but as a Lyft user and not much of an Uber user, if you're not familiar with Lyft, it's a competitive service exactly the same. They've given all their drivers these little, they're like, they look like speakers, but they're not. They're the size of speakers, and they go on the dash of the car, and they change colors. So on your phone, it'll tell you which color the car you're looking for is. Not only the actual color of the car, but the color of the light in front now. This emblem will light up, and it'll change. So if you get the green emblem, you're looking for the Uber or the Lyft with the green emblem. Similar matchup. I don't know how much the drivers are really going to be looking, because as a driver and have driven for them in the past, I'm pulling up to the address, and if you're not near it, this is sounding more like your problem than mine, as I'm not going to be searching, pulling over, asking people. You know what car I'm driving. You put in the destination. You should be there. I'll be where you told me to go.
But you don't think, because my thought isn't okay, you're going to a house where it's, okay, there's only one group of people, but I'm thinking more at the end of the night, and or outside of a concert or something, where or maybe or like at the airport, where it's like there's just I'm at the right address, but this address area is just huge, and this would be a way to differentiate as you're looking through to be able to find it. But
maybe Uber hasn't been doing that, but Lyft has been doing a similar thing to that by giving their drivers these emblems that will change colors, and it'll tell you which color it's going to change to. Just to make things easier. I do see the issue in it, though. It is totally a necessary change. I don't think it's anything revolutionary, but it is a very good improvement if Uber has not already been doing that. I just know Lyft has. But nonetheless, number 2.
Could just easily be a thing that they're stealing directly from Lyft, but okay. All right, so number 2 is you can more easily message your driver, giving them information. It could be very specific, like, hey, I'm wearing a green jacket. I'm near the statue. Or they also have quick pre-populated updates where you could just, you're getting dressed and everything. The Uber's arrived, and rather than have to type out like, hey, yeah, I'll just be another minute. You can just like hit real quick, like be right there, and it'll go right to the driver, and the messages are read to the driver aloud, so he or she is not fumbling around with their phone trying to figure out, all right, what they say, taking their eyes off the road. It's like, nope, it's read off to them, and hopefully make things a little bit safer and a little easier for everybody.
I do like the addition of this. I noticed that Lyft has also made a change, but their whole thing that the change that they have is they have like suggested text for the driver, and the ones that there are like on my way, I'm at the pickup, and there was another one, but the I'm on my way or I'm at a new location I think was like the third option. Those seem really
Mhm.
weird to have those texts available. Like you just requested something like I'm here, I'm gonna be here. Uh, why are we changing something already? Like don't request it if you're gonna change your spot of your location already. I understand there can be hookup mess ups or whatever. You're just trying to set everything's up,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I like to think if you're requesting it, you were ready to roll at some point, and I know that's not always the case. But this almost feels like it's catering to the people that are not ready and not where they should be.
I think it's more just, a lot of times with the Uber, it's not just one person. There's four people, and a lot of times it has to do. You're taking the Uber because you've been having some adult beverages or something. So it's like, oh, hey, like let me go to the bathroom right before we go, so you can at least let the driver know, hey, like we're coming downstairs right now. Maybe you're not in a one-story place here. You're up on the fifth floor or something. It's like, hey, we're coming. Don't leave. So that's the one that makes the most sense to me. But yeah, I'm not so sure on, like you said, like if you're changing location, like I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah. The other thing you could always call and message the driver. It just wasn't this easy. I think if you always wanted to, you could. It's probably just a little bit easier to access that, and as well as I don't think a lot of people knew that you could do that. 'Cause if you're a driver, I don't think you want everyone normally just texting the driver so regularly. Uh,
Yeah, because like, hey, you're driving a whole bunch, so that's why I thought it was a good idea to have it um read it out loud to them.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That all makes sense.
So that,
But again, we're
and
catering
then
we're
the
catering to people that you requested for a ride and you're not where you said you were, where you're not. You should be there when it tells you when
Will
it's going to
we're
be
we're
there.
we're not dealing with like the smartest and people in like, hey, I'm at like my peak powers right now. You're dealing with people that have been out drinking and stuff. You have to make it. You're trying to help your customer, and your customer is, I would say, a lot of times they're drunk or it's earlier in the morning. Like, yeah, you got to try to help them,
Yeah,
coax them
you think
along as much as possible. They're basically like little toddlers.
you think these intoxicated people are going to be able to text them and actually be helpful at all? For me, this is just going to cause more problems. Being like, hey man, just wait outside 20 minutes. We'll be down.
But that's probably what they're gonna do already. But now you can at least let the guy know.
Yeah, I'll be honest. If I was driving and somebody sent me a text that just didn't feel right or it felt like you were going to take longer than you were, I'm just going to cancel. I'm going to go on to the next ride.
Well, that's
That's a
that's
choice. That's a
on
personal
you.
choice. That's not like something I have to do. But I would say out of a personal choice, I'm not going to wait. There's plenty of other people that would need a ride, especially if I'm picking you up in the hours of which you are intoxicated. There's someone else intoxicated that may be a little bit faster.
And maybe that's what you have to do. I don't think you should just discount what Uber's doing because it's going to make your life as the driver maybe possibly more difficult because they don't really care about you so much. You're an independent contractor.
Yeah.
You know what they're thinking? You know what? If you don't want to drive for us, there's 1,000 dudes behind you that are willing to drive. So, we're looking for people that are bringing the cash in. So
They're
I
waiting for
think I think
robots.
that it kind of goes both. It kind of goes both ways, which is not that far away.
They're waiting for robot cars. It's coming. Nobody's going
Yeah,
to be
they're
doing
just
this
biding their
anymore.
time. Yeah, just biding their time.
What do we got for the third and last new feature of Uber?
The final one is it that they now guarantee that when you schedule a pickup, it will come on time or your money back.
I, yeah, that does that make sense? That makes sense to everybody. Why has this not always been a thing? I don't understand what's the point of
I
scheduling something if people
I
don't show up on time.
I agree, but apparently that was not a thing before, and that would that would make me pretty upset if I had a flight I had to catch, so I scheduled a ride and the ride didn't show up. That would result in some negative feedback for sure.
Yeah, this drives me nuts that this is a new feature and they're like all improved and bragging about it. Now, this is just something that my guess is when they launched the scheduled rides, it was a disaster early on. It had to have been. You only re-announce this sort of rule if you're having problems with your scheduled rides, and that could be an app thing, a driver thing. It could be so many other things. But clearly, there were some issues that had to be addressed, and hopefully are fixed to this point where they're willing to almost guarantee the ride, which they have to, and really should. You would only schedule a ride if you have somewhere to be in at a certain time. If you have all the time in the world, you would
Yeah,
just request any old one.
and just do a normal one. Yeah.
Yeah. So I do like that, but again, this feels like something that I, I get the relaunch and the reboot and kind of just more alerting everyone, but this shouldn't be anything new. This should have been something that's already been thought out and existed.
But it didn't, so they're making it happen now.
Oh, silly Uber, silly Uber. I have my thoughts on and feels on Uber. It's just not my favorite company. But those all sound like improvements, so I can't be mad about that. Some of them other companies already have been doing. Some of these things maybe they should have already been doing, and they weren't. So that's all in all. I guess they're all improvements. So I can't be mad about that. Uh,
Hopefully, steps in the right direction.
Speaking of can't be mad about that, former quarterback Jimmy G is getting a little social out in San Francisco over there. Apparently, he's been taking some endeavors with a significant other. Is that even true? Do you call it a significant other, or is it just dating? What is this?
He was on a date.
He's on a date.
I don't know. I don't know why people are giving this such a big deal.
All right. I'm only kind of making a big deal about it because as a Patriot fan, I kind of had a lot of faith and believe Jimmy G will be a good quarterback. But the second he's traded, I'm kind of like I've only seen him play a handful of games and they looked good, but is he good? I think that's more my thing right now is I don't know how good he is, and there's such a
So is
small.
your concern? I guess we didn't exactly lay it out. He was out on a date with a porn star. Is it because it was a porn star, or is it because he was out on a date?
I just think he got the date with the. Well, I don't know. I don't know that for sure. I'm assuming he got the date because he's being viewed as a popular and successful quarterback, which in comparison to the dozens and hundreds of failed college quarterbacks, yeah, he is. But in the scale that I'm looking at it as an NFL quarterback, he ain't nothing. He's nothing.
You sure he didn't get the date because he's just a super good looking dude?
Now that's what I'm not factoring in. That could all entirely be true and be the case. But I don't believe that at all either.
So your concern is because he should be practicing. That's what he should be doing.
I don't know if he should be practicing. I don't think he's of the level to
He
just
should be
walk out.
studying tape.
I like to think certain level of success in sports means you could pretty much date anybody in some sense. Not anybody, but you're gonna have first dibs on it. You're gonna be able to contact certain people a little bit easier. Obviously, he's moving in the right circles. I'll say, so I applaud him for that. No,
I
no,
just think that an adult film star is just getting a lot of where it's he's going on a date. They're going on a date together. It's between the two of them. It shouldn't matter to the rest of us what either of their professions is.
I see. I'm not even looking at it as a career thing. It's more of just a really good looking person who's dating him, and my only reasons
You think that's
of
gonna
him.
distract him from playing football?
No. I don't think he's worthy. All right, he's not worthy. All right, he's not ready. He's got more to prove for me to deserve a good looking person quite like that.
I don't
No,
think that's how life works, bro.
that's not how it works. That's not how this world
I
works.
don't think this is how I could be wrong, but I don't think this is how this works. I'm
Oh,
not sure how this is how any of this works.
all right. If Brady wasn't with, when did Brady get with Giselle? This could decide some things a little bit more here, right? That seems like the fitting pair.
Timeline's messy.
Timeline's messy.
Yep.
All right. At the time they met, or at least things got a little bit more serious, was he a better quarterback than Jimmy G?
Once again, timeline's messy,
Oh man. All right. Well, this is not a
and I'm
story.
I'm saying that twofold. One, because I don't know, and two, because I think there's rumors that he got together with her while he was still involved with his first wife.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't have to say that either. You take that back, all right? We're Patriots fans. Tom's listening, right? He hears all.
Like I said, I could be wrong, and it could just be rumors, but from some of the other stuff that I listen to, that's a possibility.
See, this is why we need actual football back. This is
I know,
terrible.
right? Yeah.
I don't even want to talk about this anymore,
I
let
want to talk
alone
about
listen
actual
to this.
football stuff.
I'm sorry. should, should we move on to something
Yeah.
that's a little bit more of a feel good or something that's a little bit more funny?
Let's just move on.
Let's just move on. All right.
Let's just move
Walmart
on.
Walmart is doing a bold thing and an approach to compete with just about everybody. I think just this year they announced they're going to do the 2-day delivery to try and match Amazon. They are now going to try and launch a video streaming service in competition with Hulu, Amazon Prime Video, Netflix, and whatever else other Prime service you use. There's so many video streaming services out there. So they're gonna give their best shot at this. I don't think this is a good idea. Uh, I think there's too many options right now, but I suppose they could be an option. Are you leaning towards giving Walmart a chance as a streaming service? Like, what factors into you picking a service? What do they got to do to sell you?
They gotta have the shows that I want to watch.
Yeah, so if they're able to get all those contracts, you
That's
jump in the bandwagon. You're ready to roll.
the shows that I want to watch, and it has to be for the right price as well. Uh, I hope that it works out for them because I think if there's more streaming services, then it will be more competition. It'll drive the price down for me as the consumer. But I think the problem, they're trying to compete with Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, all the heavy hitters. But what a lot of the services are doing, or the networks are doing, is they're not selling their content to Netflix anymore. They're pulling it all back, and they're keeping a lot of it for themselves, and kind of having their own. Like, hey, you got to go to, you got to download the FX app, and you got to pay, or make sure you have cable, or maybe you got to pay a little something on the side to get the FX shows. So I'm not sure how many shows are going to be left, and do they just end up with the bottom of the barrel?
I'm fascinated by it. I mean, Walmart's a big enough name, and I'm sure they have enough money and obviously enough brand recognition that it'll gain some momentum. I all right, as a user right now, I'm already going back and forth between which one do I want. I love all the HBO shows, but I've seen a lot of them, and I don't need to keep up with all of them. Like I feel like a lot of the ones I'm watching right now are older ones. They're not even the new stuff. And as well as that's such a premium service that you're paying for, it's a little bit of a premium product. But I don't know if I'd rather the specific of just all high quality dramas and high quality. It's a limited number. There's not as many shows, I'll say. Netflix and Hulu, on the other hand, Netflix has their own originals now. They're almost turning into HBO. I think that's kind of the direction they're aiming for. And they're losing kind of the big variety that they originally had. I actually think Hulu is getting a larger variety out of all of them, especially of recent, of old shows, new shows, and originals. And then Amazon
Does
just
Hulu
in the
have
mix.
does Hulu have their own content? They don't
Yeah,
have their own content,
yeah,
right?
yeah, they do.
They do.
They do. They got
They have some
they have a Jeffrey Tambor show that apparently has been really good. I have yet to watch it.
transparent.
I think that's what it is. I'm not sure.
No, that was Amazon.
Is
That
it
was Amazon
Amazon?
Prime.
It was Prime.
Yep.
I think
Hmm.
Hulu has some originals as well. I could be wrong.
Okay. I, I'm assuming if you and I both aren't immediately like yes for sure, that they might have some smaller ones. Definitely not the level of Netflix. But yeah, and that's going to be the issue too. If all of these streaming services also start creating their own content, there's not going to be any like intermingling. Like HBO doesn't go on Netflix, and vice versa. So you're just going to end up with almost the whole cable model where it's, but at least you got a little bit of a choice of, okay, I'm just going to get these channels, or I'm just going to get these channels over here. But if you want kind of a mix. You're just gonna end up paying for everything. You're gonna end up paying a bunch every month.
I can only do the free month trial for all of these streaming services so many times. All right, I'm running out of emails to use. This is going the complete opposite direction. I think of what everyone intended originally. I remember
Yeah,
getting the mailer and the DVDs and all of that, and then cable was obviously been around, uh, and then you could rewind or pause or record. That was all annoying, and now this is becoming annoying. We have access to all this content, but it's coming at a price that is not as convenient as it could be anymore. We've certainly hit a price point where you're not as willing to pay for every one of these subscriptions. I think it's gone up a whole lot in price too. I mean, what was the original streaming? It was like $5.99. I think we're, depending how many users you want to have on your account, we're at least at like $12 to $15, right? For Netflix.
yeah, I would think so.
And then Hulu, their more affordable service has commercials, and that's weird to me. I think the whole point of the streaming was I wanted to avoid the commercials.
Especially when you're paying for it.
Yeah, and
It's like,
now
okay, if I go to the website to get like the recap from last night, like, okay, this makes sense. I'm getting this for free. It makes sense that I get, if you're watching a comedy, you get your three commercials. But yeah, that's always been odd to me, of paying for it and having to use the commercials. But you also get more recent stuff compared to Netflix, which sometimes can take a year to get the old season. So it's like you're really kind of trying to juggle everything.
I just looked it up. Hulu does have their own original series. There's a top 10 ranked shows on here. All of them are at least 7.9 or higher on IMDb, which isn't a guarantee, but that's.
What are the top three?
Let's see. The top one is The Handmaid's Tale.
Okay.
It's got 2 seasons, 20 episodes. Second is Casual, which has 4 seasons and 44 episodes. And then number 3 is Difficult People, which has 3 seasons and 28 episodes. So they got some stuff on here. I didn't look at any of them. I'm sure there are some names in some of these that would maybe catch the attention of both you and I and some of the listeners. And I'm sure there's some listener out there who's like, yes, I've been a Hulu guy for the whole time, and I know all of these. I've been on top of it. I've just been more of a Netflix guy, just because I don't know. Maybe I wasn't really aware of Hulu early on, but now that Netflix has lost some shows, they've gained some of the shows that I like. They're the only ones with Seinfeld. I know that. That's a big one. They're the only ones with Archer, I think, right now. They're the only ones with Sunny.
Because Hulu did a bunch of stuff to make it like exclusive.
Yeah.
Where it was just like, hey, we're the only game in town for streaming, and that seemed like a really smart move by them. Where it's not like, oh, well, maybe I'll just get this. It's like, nope, you like you said, like if you want Sunny, you want Archer, we've got it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. So are you going to be a Walmart person or not? It's really going to base entirely on the show. There's not a price point.
Though I said it'll be a combination of the two.
Yeah. I wonder what the ideal amount though is to pay. Is $15 for a bunch of content without cable is reasonable.
I have heard of Handmaid's Tale. Handmaid's Tale. It's a tricky word to say. Handmaid's Tale. Couldn't tell you like a bunch about it, but I just kind of like heard generally like on podcasts that kind of getting thrown out there. And
I have heard of this.
I know.
Liz and Moth.
I was just about to say it's the main woman from Mad Men. It's like, oh, I remember seeing that picture and being like, oh, Elizabeth Moss.
Yeah. I do remember.
But haven't gone into it. Haven't gone past that. Nothing like that.
Well, maybe we'll give it a shot. If you have watched that, or if you watched any of the other Netflix originals, feel free to reach out.
Hulu
and comment.
originals.
Or Hulu originals. God, it's such a default thing now. It feels like they invented the original, even though HBO
like Netflix,
has been doing this forever.
Yeah, it's almost like the Kleenex tissue, where people ask like, oh, like you've been watching a lot of stuff on Netflix. Just meaning in general, have you been watching television?
Yeah, I know. YouTube's got their own originals now as well.
Yeah. They had a Karate Kid, which just set like 30 years later.
I saw they had an animated animation cartoon comedy on there with John Cena as one voice and Kat Dennings as the other. I watched the pilot. It was free on YouTube whenever it came out. It's an interesting show, uh, but
Hmm.
it's just kind of interesting that we're gonna get all this content. And I could only imagine the actors or who's ever given the pitches, the producers, directors, the writers, whoever creating all of this content, somebody's gonna pick it up now. I just wonder. It's got to be hard to get a no from everyone, right? Like anything can get made now. Is that a good
Well,
direction or
yeah,
a bad
and
direction? Like, is bad stuff
because
being
it's
made?
just you don't need to make a show like Cheers that just a lot of people are gonna like. With services like this, all you really don't want people that are kind of lukewarm. You want just a smaller group of people that really like the show and are willing to pay you the 8, 10, $15 per month to watch it. So I think we're gonna get more unique shows, but it'll be interesting going along. I mean, 10 years ago, you ask people, oh, what's your favorite show? And it's like, oh, Lost. And it's like, oh yeah, if you weren't watching Lost, like you knew about Lost, and you could go there. Where now, I mean, the top three shows on a main streaming service, like their original shows, you and I, which are just we're pretty plugged in, had like really no feel on it all. So I think it's just gonna get more and more of when you go to talk to people, like, oh, what are you watching? It'll be less of, oh yeah, I've heard about that. I've seen some of that. Oh, I like that. To wait, what is this now? Where is this? Oh, I have not heard about this at all.
Yeah, I have no idea the direction of that. Speaking of no idea what I have the direction of, Spotify recently confirmed that they're the top dog for their music streaming service with 83 million paid. This is paid subscriptions, not just accounts. 83 million paid subscriptions. And they have yet to turn a profit, which is crazy to me. Meanwhile, on the flip side of that, iTunes, which is kind of the Netflix original as we talked to earlier, is being phased out and I think completely shut down. I don't think you can buy music on iTunes anymore. I don't even know if iTunes exists in general. I don't know if you buy videos or books or whatever else you can get on there.
Podcasts.
Podcasts, I don't know what else you do. But I find that really interesting that Apple has suddenly said, no, we're going to phase out from this. I know they have their Apple Music, which is a streaming service, but their bread and butter from day one was you 99 cents a song, however much for an
Yep.
album. That's it.
Yeah,
This is a
yeah,
weird era for
the
me. Are you a Spotify subscription? Do you subscribe to that?
No, no, I'm still a Pandora guy.
Still a Pandora guy. Do you pay for that?
Nope.
Nope. You deal with the commercials. All right.
Yeah,
No,
I
no.
listen to a lot more podcasts, so it's just music once in a while.
All right. Well, all the podcasts though they don't have any commercials unless it's sponsored ads within the recording, right?
Oh, all of them have tons of commercials. Yeah.
Oh man, we got to get some commercials. No, we don't. No, we don't.
Well, if someone's willing to pay for a commercial, yes, we would like to promote your product or service.
Does
Don't be shooing away money, Will. I could use a side gig.
everyone could use a side gig. So anyway, with Spotify being the top dog, and I think we all knew that going in. I had no idea there was that many paid subscriptions. I assumed most people were using it as the free service, which I think you got commercials. You can't choose the songs as much. I think it does some random kind of Pandora stuff with the selection of it. But
How much is the paid service? Do you know?
I think it depends on it's like Netflix where it depends on how many people you want to share the account with.
Okay.
So I'm gonna throw out a estimate. How much? Let's see. Yeah, we should have had the intern do this before I even brought this up. $10. $10 for the premium service.
A month, I'm assuming.
Yes, $9.99.
Okay.
And I'm sure there's other premium account. I think if you want to add more, you can add more. $12.99 a month. For more people, I think it is. Yep. But I don't know. Apparently, people are paying for music, and they're paying for Netflix and other streaming everything. At what point do the cost of all this just not become worth it? And you want to go back to iTunes and CDs and just accumulating just individual. Because once you buy it, it's yours. Once you cancel the streaming service, it's gone. You don't own anything anymore. We're renting
Yeah,
all of
no,
this
it's yeah,
content.
I was to say, yeah, you're just renting.
Uh, it, do you think this will ever turn around again, or like we'll go through phases? Like in 10 years, we'll go back to owning content again, or downloading everything. Because that is the other thing is
I
our phones and devices can store so much more than they ever could back then. The purpose of
I
buying songs and not having a whole variety of things, you couldn't fit everything on your iPod. You could fit like 20 songs.
I don't think so. Um, just because you said it's $10, $10 a month, so that would mean $120 for the year. I mean, that means the whole year, if it was the iTunes model, for argument's sake, you could only buy just over 120 songs. And I'm thinking with this service, you're going to be listening to more than 120 unique songs. So I
You,
think even with it being subscription and you don't get to keep it, uh, that it's still better off to have that than to keep acquiring songs.
the interesting thing to me is I don't have any of those services right now. And growing up, I went the complete opposite. I hated paying for iTunes because I wanted to listen to as much music as possible. I didn't want to listen to the
Hmm.
same 10 songs over and over again. So I remember my
Yep.
parents had XM radio in the car, and I went online and I found that the XM radio had like a iPod equivalent, like a mobile device with XM service streaming like right
Yep.
into it. And again, I paid a monthly fee, but I had access to so many different channels, and I kind of see how that is now. It makes total sense. But there is still some value, I think, in owning the song and being able to play it. You can listen to it on the plane a little bit easier. And I think you can download in some of these things, but it's still not yours. I don't know. The rent. I think the renting will. This is all going to change at some point. And I do find it interesting that Spotify's still not like a super successful company. It is in its subscribers, but I don't think it's profitable. I'm not buying stock in it.
Maybe you should.
Maybe I should.
I don't know. Maybe this is maybe similar to kind of like it's not a perfect one to one, but how Walmart will come into a town, have their prices low enough, they'll operate at a loss, but it'll get rid of all the other stores that would compete with them, and then once all those other stores are out of the way, then they up their price, and then you're already locked in, to go into Walmart. Where here it's like, hey, we got rid of all the other we got rid of iTunes, we knocked out Pandora, we knocked out two other ones that I don't even know about, and now hey, like iTunes used to be, we're kind of the only show in town. If you want to listen to music on the go, and you don't have an iPod anymore, and you don't have a Zune or something else, like hey, this is the way you're gonna listen to music.
Yeah. Well, speaking of other changes that are happening, we'll kind of transition lightly into a little bit of a sports topic here. The NBA and WNBA have agreed to partner with MGM Resorts, and this is entirely based on gambling, making bets, which is going to happen. We've talked about it on the show. This is a huge step, I think, in that direction of this being not only legal but allowed and possibly even encouraged. This is huge. This is it. This is the big step we were waiting for. Uh, what do you expect to happen from here? How long is this going to take? I think you brought up the topic. Do you have any of those answers?
Well, it's right now. I think we talked. I don't know if it was last podcast, the podcast before that, they just made it federally that it was no longer illegal to do it, but it's still going to be state by state to make it legal. So some states are like really gung ho, really getting after it to make it legal. New Jersey, Delaware, they're like all over it. Other states don't care as much. So it's going to be interesting where the NBA is in a bunch of different states. Uh, One of the things that MGM will get from this is it will get a bunch of the data that is not publicly available, with the idea being they'll be able to use that data to look at possible, look at different trends and angles and be able to know, hey, is there some fraud that's going on here? Is there something we should be looking into deeper? So I think this helps out with anyone that's worried that, oh, if the NBA is making this legal, there's going to be way more opportunities for point shaving, and this is going to be a detriment to the league. Where I think it's the complete opposite. This is definitely going to be more money for everybody, or more money for people in the NBA.
There will be drama and problems with any change you ever make. There's always going to be someone cheating, doing something somewhere. I don't think this brings any more. I mean, there's controversy all the time. We're spending an entire offseason in the NFL about everything over there. Those
So it's
stories
funny that
happen. Those things happen. They're always
it,
going to
it's
happen.
it's funny that you bring up the NFL because Adam Silver and the NBA have been very upfront and have been very positive about betting and saying this is going to happen. It's just a matter of time. Where the NFL and Roger Goodell have gone the opposite way and said, nope, 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 betting, nope, that's not something that happens. That's not why people like football. Nope, nope, nope. And just seems like another point that would probably look back in 50 years and say, yeah, how did basketball get more popular than football? And like, here was one of them of, well, they made gambling for the average person legal and super easy, and the NFL was 6 years behind, 8 years behind, and it took them a while to catch up.
I'm excited for it. I see so many benefits on it. We've talked about it in previous podcasts. Of I think we're both in favor, and we both agree it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when, and obviously it'll be case by case per state. But this is a big one. This is a good. I think it's a good partnership. MGM is solid. If you're a Vegas person, I think MGM is probably my favorite place to do the sports betting, to both watch and observe. Awesome sports betting area.
A little closer to home before you move on. Did you know that the MGM that they were building in Springfield, Mass, is going to open in a few weeks?
I did not. I know that has been a long ongoing process. I mean, I was in
Aren't
college and they were debating about all that.
aren't,
Uh,
aren't you glad you're out of school now that that's getting opened? Can you imagine how many times you would have been headed down there?
well, instead we went all the way to, uh, damn, what is it? It's in Connecticut over there. The
Was it
Mohegan
Mohegan?
Sun and Foxwoods, and that was like a
Yeah.
2 hour, 2.5 hour drive. Yeah,
Yeah, but think you did that once in a while. If it was right down the street, oh man, that would have been rather than like, hey, we don't have any class tomorrow or something like unique. It would have been like, it's just Tuesday at 2 o'clock. Like, yeah, let's go. Hey, it's Wednesday at 4. We just
do,
went yesterday. Well, it's only right down the street.
do you know by any chance what their liquor laws are going to be? Because a lot of the ones, at least in San Diego right now, they don't allow drinking. And it makes sense, at least for the one to not allow drinking. It's a very difficult ride there. It's like it's in the middle of nowhere. It's like a winding road all the way kind of up there. Not a good road to mix any sort of substance with at all. The other one is you got to pay for the drinking. It's not like free complimentary as long as you're gambling. But they at least do serve it. So I'm kind of curious to see if you know. Do you know by any chance? I'm sure that's going to be an ongoing debate that they will never agree on either. How to
They
handle
do
that in
they do have a
Springfield.
liquor license.
Okay. All right. Well, that's at least somewhat encouraging. I'll be curious to see whether or not they're free for anyone who actually is betting and gambling. Uh, but
I
yeah,
thought that was a, I thought that was a, I thought that was pretty much a standard thing that if you were gambling that you got free drinks except for like I think it was like I heard about like casinos like in Cleveland where they made you pay for it, and that was just like on a Bill Simmons podcast where he was just outraged is a little strong, but he was like, "What is happening here?"
it's you have a real big problem. If like I see the benefit of it. At least you get something out of it. If you appreciate a drink and see the value in that, you can at least get something out of it. Versus the flip side, it's like you're probably gonna lose some money and get nothing out of it.
And now I'm paying for drinks.
And
Like,
now I'm
man,
paying
maybe
for
I'll just
drinks. Yeah, I came here to
do
lose
something else.
money and spend money, which are two of the
Yeah.
same things.
Hmm.
But that's cool. That's cool. That's going to happen in Massachusetts. I know that's been a huge debate of
Yep.
is it going to be good? There were so many different things. So I was in business school when that was happening over there. So one of my classes was an entrepreneurship class, and that was a huge like topic of well, we had like a debate between the sides in class, uh, and it was cool. It was cool. There's so many pros and cons to everything. I thought the area not needed it, but I didn't see the decline of it. I didn't see what it would hurt. I thought if anything, it would just bring more traffic there. But we'll see. That's exciting. I'll definitely have to check that out. If when's that opening again?
It's I don't remember the exact date. The 18th is jumping into my head, but it's
Okay.
not several. It's definitely in the next few weeks. It's in August.
Okay. So I'll just say it'll be open by the end of the year, more or less. That's exciting. Yeah, man, I'm all for that. That's a lot closer than
Hmm.
MGM or not MGM
Yep.
Mohegan in that
Yep.
area. Man, I wonder if man, I'm gonna be going home. I'm gonna be flying into Hartford now. Speaking of other news of the weird, actually, we'll stay on the good side here, all right? LeBron James has had quite the offseason. If you're unaware and somehow not a sports fan at all, LeBron James used to play for the Cleveland Cavaliers, where he's from, born and raised. Played for Cleveland 2 times now. He left them and went to Miami, then came back, and now has left them again and is joining the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, this is not a story about that move. This is about him still caring and valuing Cleveland and opening up schools all through Akron as well as I think it's other areas in Ohio. Like it's all over.
It's just one school.
It's just one.
Just one
I
school.
think I wrote he wanted to do another one though. It might have been
I
multiple.
mean, I'm sure he wants to
Yeah.
do another one, but it's just the one.
Uh, but that just
In
happened this
Akron.
past week in Akron. I saw a whole bunch of good things and a bunch of people saying this is awesome, this is cool. I still think it's him. He doesn't have to do this for Cleveland. He's already like I feel like he's already done so much, but he still feels like he has to do this sort of stuff, and I appreciate and applaud that so much. I think it's such a good look, especially because nobody's really happy with him there, right? Like he can't be a loved guy for leaving him a
He brought him a
second time.
championship.
Yeah, so that's good. Like bury the hatchet. There's nothing. Nobody's bitter.
Uh, I feel like
It's kind of
there was
soon
less
too.
anger this time. There
It
was less
this just
anger this time.
happened.
He brought him a championship. They're not thrilled about it, but it's more like, all right, brought him to the finals 4 years in a row. It's like this was awesome.
Yeah, I
The
agree. It was
Browns haven't won 4 games in the past 2 years.
Uh, nonetheless, I think we could both agree he doesn't have to do this. Even if it wasn't in
No,
Akron
no,
or his
not at all.
hometown, he could do it anywhere. He could have done it in San Diego, which he would have probably not as much reason to do it, but he doesn't have to do it.
No, he doesn't have to do any of this stuff.
Uh, but I do like that he does that, and I know the NBA does a really good job, at least of advertising the NBA Care commercials and whatever other they support a lot of things. They make it at least appear like the NBA guys are always involved with their communities, whether it's where their teams are located or where they're from or some sort of relation. Uh, and I think that's an awesome thing. So you got any other
Yeah, and
insight on here? Where's the story at?
yeah, one of the things too is that this is a public school. This isn't a charter school, so this isn't you know I know there's some other players that have started a charter school, and not to take anything away from them, but it's you're not the selection process. I don't think you're going to be able to be as selective. It's whoever lives in the neighborhood that is zoned to go to that school, like that's where they're going to go. Uh, so you're not just exactly picking and choosing. And then here's a list of the things that go along with going to this school. Free tuition, so that's public school. That makes sense. Free uniforms, free bicycle and a helmet,
Huh.
free transportation within 2 miles, free breakfast, lunch, and snacks, food pantry for families, GED and job placement services for parents, and guaranteed tuition to the University of Akron for every student who graduates.
Wow. Yeah,
So to
that's
me, that even goes a little above and beyond just saying like, "Yo, I built this school. This is like the LeBron James school, and now I'm in LA, and you guys figure it out." It's like, okay, you're trying to seems like go even a few steps further, of even just like look at it, it's like something simple, just like a bicycle and a helmet. Just I remember as a kid like riding my bike around a whole bunch, and just not everybody gets to do that. Of just it gives you a little bit of freedom when you're younger before you get the age of having a car. Of just all right, I can just kind of get away a little bit and I can hang out and do some exploring.
They should push for scooters.
No, we want to get these kids healthy.
It's all awesome stuff, and I'm glad he does it. I think LeBron does get a lot of heat for the original first decision. I'll say when he left, but even after that, I don't think he really. He's always loved Cleveland, and he's always taken care of Akron. I think from day one, even when he wasn't there, and even though he's not there now, this is again just a good story. Feel good. I'm happy for everything. I hope it all works out. I hope the city of Akron will always just, regardless if he's in a Cleveland uniform or not, will still at least support him in some regard, or at least can support that he supports them.
The person.
Yeah. He's not the basketball player.
Not the player.
Yeah. So good stuff for that. Speaking of other good stuff, maybe this will be funny. I'm unfamiliar with the topic, but apparently ESPN The Ocho is back.
It's back.
It's back.
So,
I didn't know
yes,
it left.
This is perfect. So last year, they just turned ESPN2 into ESPN The Ocho for the day. They're doing it again.
Oh,
and
it's so good.
I saw this and I clicked on the press release.
Hold on, you got to tell them what the Ocho is. I'm sorry, just break that down for them.
So yeah, if you're unfamiliar, the movie Dodgeball, it was a movie early mid 2000s with Vince Vaughn. Comedy, super silly comedy where a bunch of ragtag group of people get together to form a dodgeball team to try to save their gym from the evil Globo gym, which is the head guy is Ben Stiller. And as it goes along, they do pretty well. So then they get on TV, and they're showing this adult dodgeball tournament on ESPN 8, The Ocho. So, true to that, like right in their headline, it says "Bold Strategy Cotton," which is a reference to it. And all throughout the press conference, there's just like their first line. There's an electricity in the air, folks, a palpable hue of anticipation. Like all these lines in it. But let me go through what is going to be on for this 24 hours of taking over ESPN2. This is August 8th. So this is next week. Mark your calendar, because these sports don't build character; they reveal it. So if you watch Dodgeball, you were loving this. If you didn't watch Dodgeball, you're like, "What is this guy talking about?" I'm gonna go through the list of what they're gonna be showing, and this will be quick, like rapid fire. I want you to tell me whether you're in or out.
All right, go down the list.
All right, Sky Zone Ultimate Dodgeball Championship. 32 teams compete for the ultimate title in trampoline dodgeball.
Trampoline dodgeball?
Yep.
Does that mean exactly what it says? It's just dodgeball with trampolines?
Oh, yes. It means exactly what it says.
I like it. Oh, man. We're going to see some injuries. But I suppose you see injuries normally on ESPN. The sports aren't the safest things.
Yep. Okay.
I'm in. Next one.
All right. 2018 Dodgeball World Cup. The best dodgeball teams from around the world will compete for the title at Madison Square Garden.
Oh, wow. You should go to that. At MSG?
Yep.
Man, the Ocho has grown. In the movie, they kind of show like funny things. It's like lawnmower racing and axe throwing and some other like weird.
Hold on.
Oh man,
there's more.
Right.
That's why I said rapid fire. You're not going rapid fire.
I'm not rolling rapid fire. Keep going.
All right. Ultimate Frisbee Championships.
Okay, that's cool. I've seen that on ESPN2 hit or miss a couple times already.
You gotta say in or out.
In. I'm in on all this. I don't know how I'm gonna be out.
All right. Spikeball East Tour Series.
Ooh, Spikeball's fun. We got that at the beach all the time here. I'll just watch amateurs play. These guys are gonna be professionals, or at least qualified. I'll say, maybe not professional. I'm in.
In. Cornhole Pro Invitational.
Oh man, I've caught cornhole on late night on ESPN2 way too many times. Yeah, I'm in too.
Major League Eating.
See that one. That one on. I don't need to watch that one live.
Hold on. Johnsonville Brat Eating World Championship and Crystal World Hunger Eating Championship.
I
I'm not sure what they're eating in that. I'm assuming Johnsonville Brats could be brat. That could be anything. But yeah, eating.
yeah. I'm gonna. Yeah, I'm good on the. Yeah, the hot dog thing is enough for me on 4th of July, and I know there's eating competitions all over the place, and there's a bunch of professionals and all that, but I don't need to watch that one live. Yeah, I'm good. I'm out on that one.
World Championship of Ping Pong.
Uh, Soft yes. Not like committed to it, but if I'm around and it's on, I'll tune in.
All right. Now hold up on this one. I might have to give you a little more info. Fenway Hurling Classic. I'm just finding out that hurling is an Irish sport. Looks like you wear a helmet. Also looks like some sort of field hockey.
Yeah, it's in Fenway,
Yep.
and it's an Irish sport.
Yep.
Oh, that'll be fun. You should go to that one. That'll be way more fun. Yeah, I'm in. I'm in
From
on that. I don't know what it is, but yeah, that could be fun.
we have Premier League darts.
I'm good on the darts. I've seen darts before.
Okay. This is a this one's a tricky one to pronounce. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right because it's from India. It's called kabaddi. Now you're
Yeah.
gonna think I'm making this up. This is for sure. This is for real. A contact sport, a contact team sport that originated in India involving two teams and a unique rule. The goal is for each team's raider to tag as many of the opposing team's players as possible and return to his or her home half, all while taking just a single breath.
Is this like underwater capture the flag? Is that what you just described?
I think so, but without the water,
What do you mean?
without the flag.
Oh, I assumed hold your breath involved water. How do you know if the?
I didn't think that through.
I assumed that it meant water. How do you know if somebody's holding their breath? Like, is
Maybe it is underwater.
the purple guy
It's
who's
even
still
harder.
running on the other. The guy with the purple face is the one who's really good. Like,
I assumed it was the honor system.
it was the honor system. Gentleman's game.
Needless to say, I've never heard of this before.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but that's just what I thought in my mind based on what you told me, and I'm assuming the listeners are going to think that as well.
All right,
I'm in
we
for the
still have
curiosity.
all right, I am as well. All right, only got a handful more here. The Saber Legion Awakening, the world's biggest custom dueling organization.
It's like fencing.
I think it's like fencing, but they're saying biggest custom. I think like you get to design your own sword.
Is it swords or is it like
It says sabers. So I think for all intents and purposes, for 2018, simple guys, they're swords.
Is it gonna
I'm
look
sure
like?
we were probably gonna get a bunch of hate tweets that a saber's not. No, that's not a sword. It's totally different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. As much fun as like it would be really. I'm really excited to see this all air next week and on TV. I do think the live event for a lot of these would be really a lot of fun because these are guys who are passionate about a sport that you probably don't care nearly as much about. So that'll be fun to be around.
In or out.
I don't really understand what a saber is. I'm out.
World Sumo Challenge.
Oh man. um, I don't know. I'm gonna go out on that one too. I don't need to see large men in diapers. I'm all right.
Women's Flat Track Derby.
What
Roller Derby.
roller derby? Yeah, I'm in on that. That would be fun. That could be fun.
Let's see. Chess boxing.
Is there any definition to this at all?
It's exactly what it sounds like. It's 3-minute rounds for each sport for 11 rounds. So
Wait,
3 minutes
what?
of boxing and then 3 minutes of playing chess.
Well, so if you if you physically actually hit somebody in the ring and don't knock them out, and then they crawl out of the ring onto the chessboard here and checkmate you, that guy wins.
I would imagine that whatever it would be checkmate or knockout, whatever comes first.
Yeah, I'm in on that. I just
But if
want
you
to
not,
see.
no, I'm saying I think if you knock him out, he's done. I would say he's done, but because he, or maybe he gets like a rebuttal chance, like if he doesn't checkmate you in that next round.
Then you
No, because
gotta.
it's got to be 3 minutes. I'd say if you knock him out, then he's done.
Oh, I'm in on that. That may be the best one. That's the most the Ocho sport you can have right now. That's a good one. It's either gonna be amazing or terrible. I think that's how every one of these are gonna be. They're
Right,
either
and isn't that kind of like that's what the Ocho is all about?
yes, like
All right.
it's not for everyone. I think we should say that right now. These are not for
Yeah.
everybody. These are not advocates that I can strongly recommend to anyone.
But it's gonna be going on for 24 hours, so that'll be like a little nap in here or there. All right, last one, Moxie Games. All I have for this one is the little blurb right in front of me. A relatively new event that combines a variety of sports into one, such as dodgeball and juggling, martial arts and volleyball, table tennis and soccer.
What?
So I might have read that a little bit quick, but it combines two sports into one, not all the ones I've mentioned. So it's saying dodgeball and juggling, that's a sport. Martial arts and volleyball, that would be a sport. Table tennis and soccer, that would be combined for something. This just seems like the Ocho, like, squared.
Oh man, I want to know who's in the meeting of hey, we want to do this Ocho 24-hour thing. What do you think we can get? Like, I wonder if this was at the bottom of the barrel, or if this was like, no, we need this. Like, some guy was like, this is where we started. Like, in terms of which of all the events you just listed, which one do you think was voted in first? Of like, yes, we have to have that, and which one was the last one that was like, all right, I guess we'll do this one.
I like to think that was a really fun meeting.
It was probably a fun and productive meeting. I want to know what got. I want to know
Also,
what didn't get in. Also, there has to be a couple that didn't make it.
ooh, yeah, like what got cut.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it. I thought I saw it 3 times, but so this starts right at midnight on Tuesday, August 8th. Opens with the movie Dodgeball. Then goes throughout the whole day with stuff, and then at 10 o'clock at the very end of the day, ends with Dodgeball the movie,
Wow,
which
I
I
like
think
it.
is perfect.
I like it. I like it a lot. You know what we should do? We should Twitch broadcast them. We should Twitch broadcast you and I on one of the events, or multiple if it works out.
Yep. And like just comment on it.
Yeah, we're broadcasting these now, and if listeners want to tune in, we'll post it on the website. Make it all available. Stream live if you want with us. Twitch is a video streaming service that we can both communicate on and watch the live video that everyone else is watching, and we'll provide commentating audio to it. We'll work more on that. I will definitely make an announcement if we do that.
All right,
But
yeah,
we should do that. I just thought of that right now. That'd be fun. That'd be really a lot of fun.
Okay, that could work. Cause I'm looking at like the after work stuff for me, and that is the Moxie Games, which I just have no idea what to expect there. And then after that is the official 2018 Dodgeball World Cup.
Yeah.
So that seems very official.
Yeah, Con. Well, we've been chatting here for just about an hour. We have not been doing the podcast quite as frequently as we'd hoped to, but you know what? Football's coming around the corner. Basketball's about to start. We got
Hard Knocks starts next week.
Hard Knocks next week. We have the Ocho next week. I imagine that's going to provide us some topics to talk about, or at least some sort of entertainment. I don't know. But if you are listening, we want to thank you for listening as always. Make sure you check out the website, lcalcb.wordpress.com. Also check out Sold by Will for all your San Diego real estate needs. And also keep up to date with Zach on his Twitter, which is
WickedZman24.
And we hope to be back soon. We'll hopefully be back next week doing a live stream of the Ocho. Oh man, I want to do this. This would be fun.
You gotta remember.
What am I gonna remember?
We gotta remember to do the the Ocho's happening.
Oh, I really thought you were about to remind me of something else.
No. This is the most important thing in my life right
now. Thank you as always for listening. We'll be back. We'll be back on the Ocho next week. And if you've seen any of the Hulu originals, or if you'd like to be on the show, if you want to be part of the Ocho and some of the broadcasting, please message Zach or I on the website or Twitter or however you want to do it. And we'll be back next week.